Early on in my life, I was taught that I was extraordinary, that I could do anything, I could accomplish anything that I put my mind to, and I believed it. That was until I entered kindergarten and started to realize that I couldn't read as well as other people, that I was a little bit slower in speech, and I had a stutter, and I would struggle in standing before people and speaking. And I started to really have one goal: to be normal, average, and ordinary, to be just like everybody else. That was my goal. Now, what I want to do over this 90-day period is to change the world, to reach out and touch more lives, to become more like I'm supposed to be as a father, as a husband, as an employer, as a coach, speaker, author. All of these things, I want to be extraordinary. But so often we're being told that we need to be normal, average, and ordinary in our daily lives. Let me tell you a little bit about James. James from James and the Band of Fire is a 12-year-old boy. For most of his life, he felt like he was normal, average, and ordinary, and he was okay with that. He had a great family, he had a great life, but when he turned 8 years old, he started to realize that he could hear people's thoughts. At a little bit older than that, he started to hear the neighbor's dog speaking to him instead of barking at him, and he knew something was different. And when he was invited at 12 years old to a special summer camp, he was taught that he was a titan, that he had one of 7 extraordinary abilities that allowed him to do things that nobody else could do. That was until he went to camp and they did the classification and found out that he was concordant. So for James, concordant meant he had all 7 abilities. And so his job was to learn how to use all of those abilities together to become the best version of himself, to be extraordinary, to live an extraordinary life, and to have an extraordinary impact on the world. Now, I don't have all those 7 Titan skills from the Band of Fire, but I have my own strengths. I have my own abilities. And so for what I want to do over the next 90 days, it's less than 90 days now, but over this next period, is to step into my strengths, to step into my weaknesses and use them together to live an extraordinary life. My goal is to stop being normal, average, and ordinary. My goal is to reach out and help other individuals stop living the ordinary, average life and live an extraordinary life that they can live, that they're able to live. So what I'm going to do, and you can join me and you can watch me, is I'm going to make these daily steps. What I've been doing today, and I'm going to invite you to do the same if you'd like, is I sat down and I says, okay, what are some of my strengths? What are some of my weaknesses? What are some of the things I can work on to help myself step into that extraordinary life instead of being normal, average, and ordinary? So take some time, if you have even just a few minutes, and write down in a book, in a journal, on a piece of paper, somewhere, your strengths. Say, well, I don't know what my strengths are. Well, let's do this simple activity. Take 5 things that you have accomplished that were very, very successful, and figure out what the strength is for each one of these, why you were able to accomplish those things. And as you use those, you can actually see what overlaps, and you'll be able to understand at least 4 or 5 strengths that you have right now. So I invite you to do that. Take that step, start moving forward so that you can live an extraordinary life. And I promise you, I'm doing the same thing. I'm stepping forward so that I can live an extraordinary life, so that I can have an extraordinary impact, so that I can reach my goals, live my dream, and enjoy an extraordinary life, just like God would have me do. This is Dr. Brant Gibson, and thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Take the opportunity to find your own strengths. This has been Concordant Day 2. We're going to do this for 90 days with the idea that by the end, I'm going to be living that extraordinary life. And if you do it along with me, you can too.